15th place. We are 15th place in the Premier League. 200 million spent in the summer, 15th place. 600 million spent in the last 3 years, 15th place. Under every manager, under every rebuild, we seem to find a new rock bottom. Every rebuild, the standards get lower and lower. You know, a couple of years ago, we were disgraced at a 6th place finish, thinking this is the worst it's going to be. 15th place. If the bottom three were not so bad, we could get relegated. Because Everton are above us, Crystal Palace are above us, West Ham are only just behind us and they look on the up with a new manager, and Tottenham Hotspur, who are at their worst, with an injury crisis themselves, have beaten us 3 times this season and are now above us. 15th place. I don't recognise my club anymore. It is hard to try and not get emotional. It is hard to try and analyse the game when you look at the state of United. We found out that Ahmed is out for the rest of the season. We found out Maino's out for a long time. Sandra Martin is out for the rest of the season. And we were already fuming in the January window because we didn't replace Rashford and Anthony. There's limited options in the squad. And we couldn't score. Tottenham were open. Tottenham were giving us lots of space. Tottenham gave us lots of opportunity to score, and we still couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. Our last 2 Premier League goals has come from a penalty versus Brighton and a deflection versus Fulham. In our last 10 games, we've only scored 1 goal in the first half, and that was a penalty versus Brighton. A Brighton side that 2 weeks later lost 7-0 to Nottingham Forest. We are really bad. And I am really worried about Manchester United. And I normally, for my match reactions, I get loads of notes. I do things we've learned. I think we'll do a breakdown. And I want to talk about Dorgu in depth. I thought Dorgu was really good today. I want to talk about Xerxes later on as well, because I thought Xerxes was really good. I will get into the positives. I don't have it in me to write the notes and break it down from an analysis point of view. I'm really worried about Manchester United. I'm really trying not to be emotional about this football club. Because from top to bottom, it's an absolute mess. Casemiro, one of the highest players in the Premier League, on £350,000 a week, and he was the worst player on the pitch by a country mile. I don't care that Casemiro's on £350k a week. After that performance, I'd have rather seen Seko Kone play with Bruno. The amount of space in midfield, the midfield was absolutely horrific today. One of the worst I've ever seen it. It was unbelievable from Casemiro. He doesn't want to be there. He is meant to be a 4 times Champions League winner, a model professional. But the last year and a half, he's been shocking. He had a decent spell when he was playing with Agati under Ruud van Nistelrooy. But I don't care how many players are out. I don't care how many players are injured. I don't care what Casemiro could be if he's next to Agati and you let someone cover the ground and you actually use him in his best role. That performance was embarrassing. I want Carrington because do you know what? I think the players have mentally checked out in February. I felt that the last 15 minutes of that game was winnable, but Tottenham had more energy. They had more desire in their legs, probably because they made 5 substitutions and we made none. But when it's like this, go into the academy, go into the youth. Ruben Amorim, it's not his fault Garnacho missed a sitter today. It's not his fault we had 3 or 4 scoring chances and we should have walked away with 1-1. Let's be honest. 1-1 was a fair score. 1-1 would have been a fair score. We should have walked away with a 1-1 draw. Let's be totally honest about that. And that's not Ruben Amorim's fault that we can't hit a barn door. Xerxes is our best attacker by a while. I'm going to say that. And we're in trouble from now to the end of the season because we do not look like scoring. Thank you, Dorgu. Thank you, Xerxes. Very good performances. You were very threatening. You know, we can't blame Amorim for that. But you'd wait until we've got 2 minutes left to bring Cheeto on and you know he's not going to touch the ball. When Tottenham have made 5 subs and it's clear that they've got a bit more energy than us and we are knackered, I know there's nobody on the bench, but you should be giving Cheeto at least 10 minutes. Because, I don't like to be negative, but Rasmus Højlund's touch is appalling. Everything that went to Rasmus Højlund was going completely wrong. Surely you look at it and think, yeah, you know what, Cheeto, give him 10 minutes. Give him 10 minutes because the game was winnable. And I say winnable, the game was getting appointable. There was an opportunity there. And Ruben Amorim was scared with his subs. Ruben Amorim's midfield, it did not work. The lads were knackered. We needed some youngsters. We needed some energy. We needed some pace. Was Tottenham retiring in the last 10 minutes of that game? He should have made a substitution. We shouldn't be losing that game. Tottenham are not that good. We have the chances to get a draw. And I want to just say, Joshua Xerxes, great game. Best attacker by a mile. Mason Mount, this is an opportunity. Please, can you stay fit? Luke Shaw, please, can you come back and stay fit? Tottenham, who are shocking at holding leads at home, Tottenham, who never get clean sheets, Tottenham, who haven't won a home game in 105 days, have beaten Manchester United 1-0. They've beaten us 1-0. And it's so frustrating watching us play because Dorgu's making some great overlapping runs and he's being ignored by Garnacho. I like that Garnacho is direct and he gets some threatening areas, but his finishing today and the amount of opportunities he could have played Dorgu in and he didn't. Dorgu's overlapping his teammates, he's making an impact. Dorgu's quality stood out, and I feel like Dorgu's quality stands out because he's only just got here, and once he's been here 6-7 months, he'll be sunk in with the rest of them. He's young, he's fresh, he's got good ideas, he's got bright ideas, he's got legs, he can run a lot. So that's why he's good. And then once you're at United long enough, you fall into it. It's like we're a virus that players fall into. Dorgu was brilliant today, was making the right decisions, good way to pass, lovely play, but Garnacho didn't play him in once. I mean, defensively, we weren't great. Midfield was being ran through, the centre mid were being run through, the pairing did not work. Defensively, we're not great. We cannot defend the wide channels. We need another wing back. Because Delo is not it at wing back. We need a defender that can defend the wide channels. We need a midfielder that's comfortable on the ball and can progress the ball. Would you know who we need? Nico Gonzalez. Where's he gone? Manchester City. That's exactly what we need in midfield. We need a ball-carrying left 10, Mateus Cunha. Look at the goal he scored today. If Mateus Cunha's in that side and not Alejandro Garnacho, and that's no disrespect to Garnacho, he's a kid, he's young, he's raw, I think he can be a good player. But Garnacho, who's so much better when he comes off the bench and he's running at people, it's different. Mateus Cunha in that side. Mateus Cunha, Victor Gyökeres and Xerxes front three. It's a different game. It's a different game because we score one of those chances. A midfielder that could play the ball like Nico Gonzalez instead of Casemiro, it's a different game. There's so much work to do at this club. And Dorgu, you will not go unnoticed. Those overlaps, the movements, the runs. You were absolutely excellent today, and I'm glad we signed you. You were going to be a big signing for us. You were going to be an important signing for us. Bruno Fernandes, I felt sorry for. This was one of Bruno's worst games. And I saw Coach Cam say this on Twitter. But Bruno's best actions come after after United had a few minutes in possession. The demands of Bruno out of possession means, yes, the run so much it's killing him. When he gets the ball, he's leggy, and it's harder for him to make that pass or do this or do that. When we have the ball and Bruno hasn't been running around like a headless chicken for ages, you notice the quality of him. And he's all right at centre mid, Bruno. But actually, in a game like that, you want Bruno at 10, where he can make that most impact in the final third, but we need him. But we can't because we've got no one in the middle. Bruno had a very poor game today, but he wasn't as bad as Casemiro. He wasn't as bad as Delo. Defensively, we were statues for the goal. Maybe Onana could have done better. But all the money that's gone down the drain, 600 million that's gone down the drain for us to pay Anthony to go out and play for Real Betis and score goals. Marcus Rashford looked phenomenal for Aston Villa yesterday. It's like the only player that's left United and hasn't got better is Jadon Sancho. All the money we spend. And I tell you what, and I said this about Xerxes. Xerxes was fantastic today. His touching, his passes, his everything was fantastic. He was knackered in those last 10 minutes, but he grew into the game. He got better and better and better. The only question about Xerxes is a lack of mobility, a lack of intensity there. But if there's players making runs around him, he's a good player. I'm going to tell you this now. Xerxes is a victim of environment. Xerxes is one of those players where if he was thrown into a good side, a technical side with runners around him in the right environment, he'd be a fantastic player. So when Xerxes leaves Man United, which could be in the summer, watch him go on to be a fantastic player. We are the reason that Xerxes is not performing. He's got all the abilities to be an actual footballer, and he showed that today. He hasn't got the players around him. Xerxes and Bruno Fernandes, if they weren't at Manchester United right now, and if they're at other clubs, we'd be talking about them as dream signings for Manchester United. That's the sad truth of the reality at United. That is the sad truth. We are on the road to 40 points. We are in a position where, look, I don't think we're going to get relegated, but it is worrying. 3 wins in 14 games for Ruben Amorim. We've got, 13 games left under Ruben Amorim, and we need 4 wins to get, at least 4 wins to get that road to 40 points. It's very worrying. We've got Everton next. We've got Ipswich next. Ipswich is going to become a 6-pointer. It is 2025, and I'm worried about Ipswich Town. Why are Manchester United fans worried about Ipswich Town in 2025? That's a joke. Now, let's be honest, the bigger problem goes above the manager. I am not Ruben Amorim out. I'm going to make that very clear. Ruben Amorim needs the tools to succeed. He's not been backed. It's a long-term project. We need to be patient. I am not Ruben Amorim out. I think he's got things wrong. But changing Ten Hag and bringing in Ruben Amorim, while it could be the right decision long-term, has not improved us. It's made us worse. Dan Ashworth lost his job because he said, are we being impulsive, sacking Ten Hag after spending all that money to bring in a manager that can play a complete different style of football? Could we wait until the summer and maybe bring in someone that matches Ten Hag ball more? And Dan Ashworth got sacked for that. I don't feel like United's in safe hands. I want to trust Ineos. I want to believe in Ineos. But I don't feel that we're in safe hands. I am worried about the future of this club because there's a new rock bottom every single year. That those at the top of the club are the biggest problem. Ruben Amorim's got to be backed in the summer. Lots of money's got to be spent on Ruben Amorim in the summer for the right players in the right position. Will we even be able to attract those players though because of the mess that we're in right now? We're in a huge mess. Will we even be able to attract those players? But the way we're playing football is abysmal. The lack of quality is abysmal. The fact we can't score goals is abysmal. And Ruben Amorim's getting things wrong. But he's not the problem. What can he do? He didn't make subs, but look at what he's got on the bench. Who can he bring on? We are in this state because in the January window, we let Rashford go, we let Antony go, and we decided not to replace them. And that is on us. We decided not to replace them. We are limited in attack. We have lack of experience. We have got to rely on Carrington because those players are knackered. That squad cannot play every game every week. Hopefully, Euro will be back. Hopefully, Agate and Collier will be back soon because Collier and Agate in the pivot, allowing Bruno to play in the 10, it's maybe a different game. But we are so bad. I am seriously concerned and I'm really upset with the state of this club and how it's got to this. 300 million we owe in money. How the Glazers, the fact that the Glazers were allowed to buy the most successful club in English football and put 500 million debt on them 18, 19 years ago is a disgrace. And the people that let that happen are an absolute disgrace. What happened 18 years ago when the Glazers bought this club, how that was allowed to happen is a disgrace. And that is how we've got here. Ineos are here to clean out the Glazers' mess. Ineos will take the brunt of it. But remember, this is all down to Avram and Joel Glazer. We can criticise Ineos. We can say things are wrong. We can say we're worried. But let's not forget that this is Avram, this is Joel, this is the Glazer family, this is why we're in a state. This club is 15th place, I'm embarrassed.